Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another amazing video. Now, I'm not sure if you guys know about this, but in a few weeks, I'm actually going to be in Germany again for a longer period of time to experience more things. And I got invited to an event out there, Gamescom. You might have heard of it. Hope to see some of you guys there. But that's not what this video is about. Today, this video is going to be about differences that I noticed when I was in Germany that tend to make Americans a little nervous. Now, obviously, it goes without saying that there are plenty of issues in America that make Germans nervous when they come and visit, right? Although the appeal of coming to America is tantalizing, I'm not gonna lie. So I'm gonna go through a list of things I wrote down on my phone that I thought would make Americans nervous. It made me very nervous, and these are things that I've talked amongst friends that are living there now that are American that made them nervous initially. Now, some of these things are gonna be more extreme than others. Some of them aren't gonna be that big of a deal, so you might feel one way or another, but let me know in the comments down below if you agree or disagree. So I'm gonna hit it off the ground running right now with drinking in public. Now, that was a huge culture shock for me. Now, I got there and stuff, and I was so mind blown and baffled, and I talked about this before, of how many people were out and about just drinking with open containers. Like, you know, not just solo cups or glasses, but bottles of beer, or they had like flasks of alcohol with a logo on it. They would walk around with it drinking in public. Now, in America, you guys know, that does not fly out here, okay? People will get lit up by the cops. The cops will be like, you're gonna have to come in with us. Jail time, okay? Basically, it was insane. And then it made me realize how much of a non-issue drinking in public actually is. It made me wonder, why are there laws against having an open container of beer in America? It's not threatening, it doesn't hurt anybody, it's you just enjoying something that tastes delicious. Yeah, it can alter your mood a little bit, but that's why you drink responsibly. You know what I mean? Like, what's the big deal? People are already doing it in America. The only difference is they drink with their alcohol covered in a paper bag. If they go to a liquor store and they walk out of a liquor store and they have a bottle in hand with a paper bag covering it, then cops technically aren't even really allowed to ask what's in it. So they just drink out of that, and that's their version of drinking in public. But it seems like we're so secretive with that. And yet, we can buy guns at young ages? That doesn't make any sense. Now, the next one is the train system. Now, I touched on it a little bit. Everybody was talking shiznit about the Deutsche Bahn, and I was like, it can't be that bad. It's probably like it is here in Korea. I'm living in Korea right now. I'm not sure if you guys knew about that. Or, you know, back in the States. I lived in Chicago most of my life, and basically the system out there was very elaborate. It was very effective. If you missed the train, there were so many trains coming to you that you would catch the next train within the next 30 seconds to a minute. You never waited longer than 10 minutes on a bus or a train. Germany's a bit different. And I can even compare the Deutsche Bahn to Amtrak, because Amtrak is a train system where you have to pay to go intercontinental to other like states or farther parts of the state that you're currently in. So that I can compare the Deutsche Bahn more so to. Now, if you're paying like more than like $10, $15 for a train ticket in America, you best believe, unless it's hell or high water, the train is on time, okay? In Germany, it's not like that. The Deutsche Bahn has a mind of its own, and it arrives when it wants to. You can have delays. Your delays will lead to you having to wait on a different platform, this, that, the third. It's a little different, bro. It's a little different. And I mentioned this before, but I thought it was very weird and a bit nervous. And I know a lot of what makes Americans nervous about the train system in Germany is not only the fact that they're not sure if the train is going to come on time or not. That's trivial. That can happen anywhere. But the biggest thing is that you can get on the train before you pay, meaning like you can get on the train without like paying directly before hopping on the train. There's not like a kiosk or anything that you have to pay, you know, for your ticket and then get on the train. You can just get on the train and nobody can really stop you. Now, there is a person that goes through and checks everybody's ticket, so you best believe you better get your ticket while you're on the train. There are some booths, I think, on the train that you can buy your ticket, or you can buy it on the app, the Deutsche Bahn app. But eventually, if you get caught, you will get lit up with a fine. And I talked about this before, so that's nothing new. But it does make a lot of Americans nervous because, like I said, it seems like an honor system in a way where the government pretty much trusts its people to take the train and pay eventually. The next thing is a very sensitive topic, so if it bothers you, I understand. I want to open up with, I'm not a smoker. So you know where I'm going with this. When I was in Germany, what I noticed a lot, man, it was like stepping through a 50s movie, because good googly moogly, y'all smoke a lot, okay? A lot. Smoking culture in Germany is pretty big. Now, it's interesting because you guys also probably know that I am in the military. So that means that a lot of the people in the military that I work with and that I've seen, they also smoke a lot too. They smoke a lot, bro. It's a stressful thing. I ain't gonna lie to you. But y'all smoke a lot, bro. Like, but when I hung out with people and stuff, friends, no matter who I was hanging out with, I mean, people were smoking quite often, bro. It was like at least once an hour, once every 2 hours. It was a lot. And I was like, good googly moogly. I didn't feel uncomfortable per se, but I could see how it can make some people feel nervous, because I know in America, they're actively trying to get rid of smoking culture. They're trying to project it as being pretty bad, because it is really bad for your health and blah, 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 blah. Make your own personal choices. I'm not here to parent anybody. I'm just saying it was very interesting to see that America had this huge narrative of, hey, bro, no smoking, blah, blah, blah. They don't have laws against it, but they do have, you know, kind of a social campaign against smoking. And then you turn over to Germany and they're like, damn. So I thought that was interesting. I just thought it was an interesting observation. What do you guys feel, or how do you guys feel about the smoking culture in Germany? Do you guys think you smoke too much? Not enough? Meh, meh, meh. Also, how do you think, what do you think the smoking culture is in America? Now, I will say, just because I said that does not mean that a smoking culture does not exist in America. There clearly is a smoking culture. I will venture to say that there's more of a vaping culture than a outright smoking cigarette culture, because I'm referring to cigarettes when I'm saying smoking. So yeah, that was definitely something that I could see making more than a few Americans a bit nervous. It's stressful. It's stressful seeing that and not knowing what to do. It's like, should I partake? And you know, is it socially unacceptable to not smoke? That's how often people were smoking. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, God dang. Now, this next point is going to be a little interesting. Don't take this the wrong way. This is something that can be applied to any culture that would make any American nervous. For instance, here in South Korea, the language barrier. Now, fortunately, Germany is set up in a way where you can maneuver quite well without knowing the language, much like a lot of countries kind of are, you know? I mean, if they weren't, you know what I'm saying? Like, business would be a little difficult. I would highly encourage any of my fellow Americans to learn the damn language. Freak, come on, you're in someone else's country. At least learn a little bit. Learn how to say hello or something. Anyways, that was something I noticed that could be a culture shock for sure, because obviously some parts of Germany speak more English than other parts. Everywhere in Germany will speak German, obviously. You know, default will be German. So when you get to locations, when you ask people questions, they will respond to you initially in German, but if they realize you're from America, they will switch to English. They realize you're from England or, you know, wherever else, they'll switch to English. They'll help you out, which is really cool. It's dope. But it can be overwhelming when you're in situations like shopping, for instance. Told you about my story already. I don't have to tell you again. Where things are moving very fast and you're trying to understand and comprehend what's going on, and then you get there and you're like, whoa, what is happening? What are they saying? You don't have time for people to feel sympathetic towards you because everyone has places to go, things to do. You're caught up in the heat of the moment, and now everyone's yelling at you and trying to tell you to get out of whatever said location you're in, because, at least in the shopping scene, don't understand the language, and everybody is frustrated because it's the end of the day. They got off work, they're trying to go grocery shop and go home, and you're up here holding the line because you don't understand what the cashier said. That's an oddly specific story because it happened to me. Anyways, yeah, it can be a little stressful at times. I found it a bit intimidating. I mean, just in general, to actually get to practice my German in Germany with other people, but it was very rewarding. I mean, when you speak the language, people respond very well to it. They're like, oh, okay, cool. They'll even correct you if you're saying things wrong, which I think is awesome, which I need. But for a lot of Americans, specifically for Americans that are trying to learn different languages, they tend to feel very self-conscious. You guys obviously see that with me when I apologize a lot. In all of my vlogs and all of my videos, I always say, mein Deutsch ist nicht so gut. Like, I always say that, and people are like, oh, bro, you don't have to keep apologizing. But it's a self-conscious thing that happens with most Americans. We are very used to only speaking English. So when we venture out and try to dabble into another language, we feel very self-conscious. We feel like we don't belong. So it's one of the highs and lows of learning a new language and stuff like that. So in Germany, one of the biggest things that will make Americans feel a bit nervous is putting themselves out there to speak or even learn German, even though that's something I feel like everybody should be learning and doing regardless. Do you guys agree with that? Have you guys observed those behaviors with your American counterparts? Let me know. One thing that was making me nervous prior to coming to Germany, and then I got to experience it for myself, that made me feel a little bit better about it, but just because of the location I was in, is the cash-based system. I asked the friends that I hung out with if the locations we were going to required cash or if they accepted card, right? I did notice that over the years, my own banking company has been widely accepted worldwide. I mean, it wasn't like that 5 years ago. 5 years ago, the bank that I'm with right now was kind of selective with what countries it allowed me to use it in and blah, 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 but now it's used everywhere. But how does that have anything to do with cash? Well, I was told for the last 5 years I've been doing German content that Germany is a cash-based society. But what I noticed, because I was in Cologne, Germany, so mind you, this is a city, right? Apple Pay is becoming way more of a thing. Now, I'm not sure if you know how busted my phone looked. Let me let y'all look at it real quick. Do you see how ancient this thing looks? I have a button on my iPhone. That's how ancient this is. It's beat up. This has gone through a lot. I got this phone in 2016. Do you think I have Apple Pay on this? I don't, okay? Y'all have Apple Pay out there in Germany. Now, I'm not saying you guys don't have cash-based whatever, because there are a lot of places where you do have to pay in cash because card just won't be accepted. However, there are a lot. I feel like in the last 2-3 years, there have been a lot more places popping up in Germany that do accept card and Apple Pay and other electronic forms of payment over cash because it is far more convenient. Now, what makes Americans nervous about a cash-based society is our own projection onto other countries, right? In America, you become a target when you have cash on you. If you have cash on you and people can kind of detect that you have cash on you, you're getting robbed, okay? And there's an 80% chance you are going to get robbed because it's easy to take monetary value from you and run away with it. It's scary. So people don't like feeling like targets. If someone steals my credit card, you know what I could do? I could freeze my card and guess what? You can't use it. If someone steals $10 off of me, guess what I can't do? I can't freeze $10. If it's physically in cash, someone just ran away with my money, and even if I report it, it's not like I'm gonna get reimbursed. But I can get reimbursed if someone steals my credit card, decides to use it, and I haven't authorized those transactions, boom, I can contact my bank and I get my money back 100% of the time. So that's what makes Americans a bit nervous about that. I'm not sure if people were aware of that, or I have gotten a lot of questions from my fellow German subscribers, and you know, they're like, hey, well, why is cash such a big deal for Americans? You guys always complain about cash. It's more of a feeling of safety, because if you do have cash on you, you just feel like more of a target, you know? And unfortunately, America has not been the best at making people feel safe. Next topic. I was actually pretty shocked about this one, and it is the topic of the beauty standard in Germany. Now, initially, I was thinking everybody wanted to be super paper thin, you know, just flat all around, and, you know, sunken cheeks, pronounced jawline, a bunch of that stuff. But it seems like the westernized look has changed. The westernized beauty standard has changed dramatically. I mean, we have our Kim Kardashians, Khloe Kardashians, Cardi B's, whatever, and they have had a global impact. I mean, look at Sharon David. I mean, she's a popular artist in Germany, and she's built very similarly to Cardi B, Kim Kardashian, all that good stuff, Kendall Jenner. I'm saying all this to say, because of those influences, I do think that the beauty standard in Germany has changed a lot to fit curvier women, plus size women, and even plus size men. And I thought that that was huge, a huge change. Now, this could just be in Cologne because, like I said, the only place I was in Germany was Cologne. So that could just be exclusive to cities and stuff. But I really feel like there are far more opportunities now in Europe than there probably were in the past for people who are bigger to, you know, be perceived as more beautiful than they were in the past. Like in the past, people are like, ooh, you gained 1 kilo, you look fat. But now it's like, you look good. I just feel like in general, body positivity, meaning accepting what you look like regardless of shape or size, has been like, it even carried on over to Europe is what I'm saying. Now, people ain't letting themselves go like that. All right, they don't look like the beast Americans and stuff like that. But I'm saying, like, I thought that that was very interesting. Felt like a lot of the pressure to be thin for a lot of Americans and stuff like that in another country was almost taken away. Because in Korea, I'm living in Korea right now, there is a huge pressure to be on the thinner side. But even Korea, they're starting to accept being bigger. Like a lot of the men are getting buff, like super buff, and the women are getting like curvy because they realize being flat isn't necessarily a global beauty standard anymore. People like to have a little bit of meat on their bones, okay? So I'm not sure if you guys agree with that. What do you guys think the beauty standard is in Germany? Because as a person from the outside looking in, it just seemed like the beauty standard changed a lot. Like I was walking around the city and I can't tell you how many times I saw plus size women on the forefront of stores, and that my jaw dropped. I'm like, what? Really? Which was good. Like not a bad what. Like it was like, wow, that's incredible. Because literally before, I think Europe had a pretty bad reputation of, you know, bigger people not really being accepted like that. So it was cool to see a change that was like that in person. You know, I was like, oh my God. So let me know what you guys think about that in the comments down below as well, because I don't know. I was definitely mind blown. Probably one of the bigger culture shocks as far as how beauty standards are perceived in Europe versus America. The next one is interesting because I feel like it's something that a lot of Americans can relate to. A lot of Germans are probably going to be like, oh, that's just normal here. So the laid back lifestyle in Germany, there is no real push to overachieve in Germany, if you know what I mean. Meaning like if you go to America, there is this competitive atmosphere of everybody has to be set on this trajectory to make millions of dollars, even though it's the land of the free and all that other good stuff. The interesting side of that, thanks to capitalism, is everyone is constantly trying to make as much money as humanly possible, which creates this toxic work culture where you feel like you have to work 24/7. If you take any breaks, it's detrimental to your success, right? That is the American mindset. In Germany, you work to live. In America, you live to work. But in Germany, there is very clearly I'm gonna work this job. It might not pay the most. It definitely doesn't pay that little, but it pays an okay amount for me to live a sustainable lifestyle, and I can enjoy the simplicities of life. It felt like people appreciated the little things out there far more than Americans do, and it took a lot of the pressure off of going crazy and overachieving and this, that, the third. Let me give you a more personal example. You guys know, for a lot of my people who have been following me for a while, there has been a pressure for me personally, and you guys can tell because if you're in my Discord, you would know that Discord notification goes off almost all the time because I upload videos left and right. But if you've noticed, since I've been back from Germany, I haven't uploaded like that. I've uploaded probably 10 videos since I've been back from Germany. That's it. I have accepted that I value my peace. You know what I mean? There is no pressure for me to overdo and overwork myself, right? Now I do work pretty hard, but I don't do it to the point where it impacts my health, if that makes sense. So I thought that was pretty interesting because there is this pressure to do and perform over the average amount and stuff like that in America versus Germany, where it's like, okay, you live and you work and you can live a very peaceful life with goals that are more reasonable and attainable. I think in America, we like to shoot for the stars and beat ourselves up when we don't get what we want. I'm not sure if you guys have observed that yourselves, but that is a very popular mindset in America that I noticed immediately was dudded when I got to Germany. That was not the mindset. It was very relaxed. Appreciate what you have, enjoy the simplicities, don't ask for too much, and make sure that you're able to provide for yourself and your family. Next one, and it's the last one, and it is the lack of censorship. That might make Americans a bit nervous. That goes in regards to television and, you know, magazines. Now, nobody really looks at magazines anymore, so I'm not gonna beat that into the ground too much. But seeing it in person was cool. The human body is just that, the human body. So you're more likely to see nudity, but it's not really sexualized in Germany like it is in America. Also, like swear words and stuff like that. People don't really care about swear words like that in Germany, at least from what I've understood. It's not like people swear all the time, but if they do swear in television programs, they just swear. It's okay. But in America, you can show gore, violence, and cheek clapping, but God forbid you utter a swear word. These are just observations I made myself as an American visiting Germany for the first time that I thought would definitely definitely make other fellow Americans a little bit nervous visiting. That doesn't mean it's bad, it just means it's different, and it's something that we have to get over ourselves with and, you know, learn to embrace the culture and kind of mend in. Now, some of the nervousness that you experience is going to be good nervousness. Some of it's going to be bad, uncomfortable nervousness, and that happens, and vice versa. I know one of the biggest things that makes Germans nervous in America is guns, bro. I mean, I could talk about that topic for the end of time, but that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'll see you very soon. I have an update on what my German trip is going to be like, so I hope you guys are excited for that because I have a lot to say.